It almost feels impossible to get to your first $100,000 in the stock market. This is what Warren Buffett's partner just said.
The first $100,000 is the son of a bitch. That's not elegant, it's just the truth. Everyone dreams about millions. They talk about stocks, real estate, crypto, startups. But until you get your first 100,000, you're not even in the game. You're just pretending. Why is it so hard? Because you start with nothing. And nothing compounds to nothing. It's like trying to push a heavy boulder from a dead stop. Once it's rolling, momentum helps.
So once you get that ball rolling of your first $100,000, it becomes so much easier to scale to 200 to 300 to $1 million once you get there, but you just have to go from zero to $100,000. So in this video, I'm going to lay it all out there for you in a crystal clear way to understand it as a beginner of how to go from where you're at right now to your first $100,000 and beyond. So let's dive in. And to be honest with you, it all comes down to three critical components. The first thing is going to be your day job. The second thing is going to be building your base portfolio in the stock market because you have to make your money work for you. And the third thing is going to be using stock options in the right way to generate cash flow so that you can live off of this stuff. So all of this is going to come into this idea of if you do all three things correctly, you are going to scale to your first $100,000 and beyond. So let's start off on your day job first. Like, I'm not a big hater against day jobs. I'm not saying to quit your day job right now. But what I am saying is a day job is going to be a means to an end. Do not plan to work your day job until you're 65 years old. Maybe you're 20, 30, 40, even 50 years old right now watching this video. Understand that your day job is a means to an end. Your day job is a way to take that money that you make at your day job, go funnel that to your brokerage account, build your base portfolio, and then use stock options to live on that with the cash flow. But don't see your day job as safety and security and, oh my God, I have a 401k and I get a match, I get health insurance. All that stuff is just a way to keep you stuck in the system. What I recommend doing at your day job right now is this. Number one, pick up overtime if you can. If you're only working 40 hours per week, you could work a little bit harder. When I started out, I was working 50, 60, sometimes 70 hours per week, working all three shifts of the week, just trying to funnel this money to my brokerage account because I knew that I only had to get rich one time. So I knew that once I got my base portfolio built up enough to where I could live off of it, stock options are going to pay for my monthly expenses, which we'll get to that in just a second. So it's critical to get as much money in the market as fast as possible, period. Get to your first $100,000 as fast as you can. And unfortunately, starting out, you might feel like you're not making a lot of progress. And I get it. Like, you start with $0, you start with 1,000 and 10,000 and 20, then 50, then 70, then 80, then 100. You're like, okay, once I get $100,000 invested, I'm making a little bit of progress right now. But let's just say you make 10% per year in the stock market and you have a $10,000 account. You're only going to make $1,000 that year. So it might not feel like you're really doing anything. And that's just the way that it goes. So instead of worrying about doing stock options when you have a $10,000 account, you need to be worrying about how can I work harder at my day job to build this account faster. And then once it gets built up a little bit, then I could worry about stock options and generating monthly cash flow that I could live on. Because right now, your highest income producing thing is going to be yourself. But eventually it's going to be your portfolio. But before you get to $100,000, again, it's going to be yourself. So do whatever you can at your day job to try to make yourself more valuable. Whether you get a pay raise, you take on a promotion, you go get a new skill, you get a new certification, whatever it takes. If you're spending 40 hours a week away from home at this day job trading time for money, you might as well make as much money as you can doing that. So do whatever you can to make the max amount of money at your day job that you can. And once you do that, do not increase your standard of living. Like, the common mistake that so many people make is this. I get a pay raise, I already have my new car picked out. I get a pay raise, I already have the vacation booked. Do not think like that. Like, I'm not saying to not live your life right now, but what I am saying is all you have to do is get rich one time. Like, I'm 31 years old right now. I have a couple $1 million. I was grinding hard for like 5 years, but those 5 years that I was grinding in my 20s, I could now kind of cruise the rest of my life, which I'm not saying I'm going to cruise, but I could cruise. And the fact that I don't have to go to work, I don't have a boss, I don't have an alarm clock that I have to wake up to every day, that's one of the best feelings in the world. And if you haven't experienced that, I strongly recommend you watch this video all the way till the end because it's really going to help you get to that next step. So again, instead of increasing your standard of living once you have this extra money coming in, you need to increase your portfolio standard of living. Send more money to your brokerage account. Like, if you make $100,000 per year, for example, try to send at least $2,000 per month to your brokerage account. That's roughly $25,000 per year. Because trust me, every single dollar that you contribute really matters a lot. And I want to flip over to this calculator right here just to show you how much this really matters just by sending an extra $1,000 to your brokerage account. So let's just say you're starting out with $1,000 right now. Let's say that you're sending $1,000 to your brokerage account. And let's just say that you have a time horizon of 20 years, we'll just say right here. And let's say that we're going to make 10% per year in the stock market because that's kind of what it averages. And we're going to say that we compound this annually. So if you do that, you could see that in 20 years, you're going to have almost $700,000 just by contributing $1,000 per month. But what if you get that pay raise? What if you make yourself more valuable at your day job? What does that number go to? It's going to go from $700,000 to roughly $1.3 million, almost 1.4. So do not go get that more expensive car or go on that vacation yet. You will get the car and you will get the vacation soon, but get your money invested because, hey, once you have $1.3 million, you make 10% per year, that's $130,000 a year for doing nothing. We can make a lot more than that. We're going to go into that in just a second with stock options. But again, it is critical to start right now and get this money invested right now as fast as possible. Okay, so step 2, we're going to build your base portfolio. So again, once you get this extra money, you're going to start your brokerage account. I recommend Charles Schwab if you live in the US. If you don't live in the US, I like Tasty Trades or I like Interactive Brokers, but most brokers are honestly pretty good. Just make sure that you have SIPC insurance if you live in the US. And whatever your insurance equivalent is if you don't live in the US, make sure that you have that in case your broker goes bust. You're going to be protected. So, building your base portfolio, it's like once you get this brokerage account, what the heck do you do with the money? And before I give you my recommendation, we have to look at this chart right here. This goes back for almost 20 years of data, the S&P 500 versus the average investor. You can see that the average investor does roughly 2% per year. The S&P does roughly 8% per year, just really depending on what dates you choose because this was kind of chosen right before the dot-com crash. If we would have did a little bit after, the returns would have been, well north of 10%. So it just depends on when we choose the data here. But on average, the S&P does roughly 10% per year. So understand that the typical retail investor, they are going to underperform the stock market by quite a bit. The stock market is the S&P 500. That is just a collection of the 500 largest companies in the US. So with that being said, when we build this base portfolio, if the vast majority of people underperform the S&P 500, why not just buy the S&P 500 and be average? That's what I recommend to do for most people. And on top of that, there's another index that we could follow, which is called the NASDAQ. That is 100 of the top tech companies in the entire United States that are pushing us into the future. So the NASDAQ is going to be a little bit more bumpy up and down, but I do expect the NASDAQ returns in the long run to be a little bit better than the S&P 500. So what I recommend to do is 40% of your portfolio in the S&P 500. 40% of your portfolio in the NASDAQ, and then 20% of your portfolio in individual companies. It's very, very simple, 40, 40, and 20. Now, the 20% that you put in your portfolio for individual companies, these companies have to be quality companies at a quality price. You don't want to pay too much for something just because it's a really good company. You have to get a good company at a good price. And on top of that, we're not looking for companies that are very speculative that maybe you're going to lose all your money in. We want to buy companies that are quality like Meta, Amazon, Google, Nvidia, TSM, stuff like that. Those are the things that I would put in a 20% of your portfolio, assuming that they're trading at a good valuation level. You don't want to pay too much because if you do, your future expected returns are probably going to be pretty crappy just because the big move already happened. You don't want to buy things after they run up a lot. You want to buy things when people are panicking and when they're freaking out. So you build your base portfolio. That is going to help you scale from where you're at right now to your first $100,000 and beyond. You don't want to get in a game of trading in and out of stocks. You just want to simply buy and hold and continue to dollar cost average in every time that you get a paycheck at your day job. You're going to get bigger paychecks at your day job now because you're now picking up overtime and you now picked up a new skill and now you're getting paid more money. Funnel all this money to your brokerage account. And a little analogy that I like to think about with my brokerage account is that every dollar that I have invested, every share that I have of the S&P or the NASDAQ or individual companies, I see those shares as little employees that are working for me. I want more employees working for me, and their sole job as those shares, as those employees in my account, is to multiply and to make more of themselves and to go up in value. The more quantity of shares that you have in your account, the better that you're going to be. So don't worry so much about the day-to-day share price movement. Worry about your quantity of shares that you have. In the long term, it's probably going to go up and to the right. But in the short term, like in the next couple years, it's probably going to be pretty bumpy. So when you understand that, maybe you want to buy more when things get cheaper and you want to buy less when things get more expensive. That's kind of the name of the game in the stock market. buy things when they're cheap, sell them when they're expensive. So understand that. And also, again, I cannot stress this chart enough. The average investor, they try to trade in and out. They try to day trade. They try to swing trade. They try to get cute with stuff. They try to do all this crazy speculative gambling stuff, but their average return is 2.1%. Or if you do it my way, where you build your base portfolio, you're going to average roughly 8 to 10% per year. It's a brainless thing to do, but you're going to outperform roughly 95% of people in the stock market. So it does work. So as you start building your base portfolio, and once you get to a level of like 20, 30, 40,000 bucks, we could start to talk about stock options. And stock options are something that many people think of, hey, that's a risky thing to do. I don't want to do that. I don't want to lose all my money. I don't want to get wiped out. And honestly, they're right, because their friend lost money, their mom lost money, their dad lost money, their colleague from work lost money. But at the end of the day, again, most people don't know what they're doing with investing. They do stocks wrong, and they do options wrong too. But options done in the correct way, we can make a lot of money with that. And the system that I've been using for the last 10-ish years, through bull markets and bear markets, market going up, market going down, it's been doing very, very well for me. So I want to put a little nugget in the back of your head with stock options right now. Stock options are just a way to magnify an expected return. If you think that Apple stock is going to go up, you could buy the shares, you could also buy call options, or you could also sell put options. All three of those positions right there are bullish plays. But the problem with options is that most people simply just use them to speculate. They don't use them to truly magnify an expected return. And again, like, I only use stock options when I'm extremely, extremely confident that a stock is going to go up or go down in price, however I decide to capitalize on that. If I'm not sure, I'm not going to take a leverage bet. I'm not going to take a magnified bet on stock options on that company. Like, most people do that, but it's just the dumbest thing in the world to do. You have to really understand where the stock is going to go with a high degree of confidence. And to build on that, like, what does every single CEO of all these companies want? Like, what does Tim Cook at Apple want? What does Elon Musk at Tesla want? They want to make their companies more valuable. And if we just think about this logically, if you go buy a landscaping company in your neighborhood right now, maybe the company is going to sell for $1 million. Okay. Of course, you want to know the price, but what is the second most important thing that you have to know about that company? How much money do you make? What are your profits? If the company profits $100,000 per year and you buy it for $1 million, it's going to take you 10 years to get your initial investment back. That's not horrible. But what if the company only profited $1,000 per year? It's going to take you a lot of time if you make $1,000 per year to get your initial $1 million investment back. So you have to understand the ratios of what you're looking at here, the ratio of the price that you're paying to the earnings per share, the profit that you get per share that you buy. And on top of that, all these CEOs, they want their company to be more valuable. They want their profits to go up. But you can't make the profits of a company go up in just 1 week or even 2 weeks or even a month. You have to give them time. You have to give them a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. So that's why when I buy shares and when I do stock options, I orient my time horizon with what the CEOs are actually able to do. Elon cannot make Tesla more valuable in a month, but he can make it more valuable in 2 years. So maybe we buy shares with the intention to hold for a couple years. Maybe we buy call options that are 2 years out on expiration date. Maybe we sell put options that are 2 years out on expiration date also. We capitalize on these moves and we're orienting ourselves with the direction that the CEO and the board and the shareholders all have for the share price to go up, but in the long term, not instantly. Okay, now to bring this back a little bit. With stock options, I'm putting on the screen right now, based on your account size, how much money you could expect in a conservative way to generate each month with stock options. 25K account, you can make $500 a month. 50K account, $1,000 a month. $100,000 account, $2,000 per month. Like, you could see that once you get to that first $100,000, you could generate roughly $2,000 per month. Some months will be better, some months will be worse. It really just depends on what opportunities are out there. But you could see that once you get to 100K, $2,000 a month kind of becomes substantial in your life. And once you get to a $500,000 account, you could see that that could be $10K a month. Like, starting out, yes, it's hard. Starting out, yes, you feel like you're making no progress. But once you get the ball rolling, once you get that snowball going, like Charlie Munger was saying in the beginning of this video, that's Warren Buffett's partner, by the way. Once you get the snowball rolling, it gets easier, but you just have to get to that level. So, hey, no matter what stage you're at right now, I'm rooting for you. I think that you're going to make it, but you just have to be patient. You have to stick with it, and you can truly become financially free. You just have to delay gratification a little bit, take your day job money, funnel it to your brokerage account, and do stock options in the right way. So this is a playlist that I'm doing on YouTube here for beginners. There's going to be 3 videos in it, and I'm going to drop each video 2 days apart. So I'm going to link the video right here. If you don't see it yet, it's because it didn't come out yet. It's going to come out 2 days after this video, but also come back and check the video description in 2 days. I'll add it right there. The next video is going to talk about how you can truly build your base portfolio in a more detailed way, because I kind of just talked about high level stuff right here, building your base portfolio. We're going to talk more about what exact ETFs to buy, what exact stocks to buy, how to value these stocks, how to make sure that you're getting in at a really good price to try to make the most amount of money and try to beat the market in the long term. The third video that's going to come out, that's going to be a more detailed look into stock options. So definitely subscribe. You're going to get a lot of value from this 3 video series right here, and I'll see you in the next one.